Today we will be starting a new learning target, 9A, adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials. Some key terms and phrases that we need to know are like terms, double distribution, and order of operations. So like terms are terms that have the same variable and exponent. Double distribution means that you distribute twice across the parentheses. And order of operations is PEMDAS. So parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, and then subtraction in that order. Let's review what a polynomial is. So a polynomial is the sum of one or more different terms. So if we look down at this example at the bottom, we see that there's an x squared, a 3x, and a 2. And notice that those are all different terms because they have different numbers of x in them. So another way to say that is that polynomials are in simplest form when they contain no like terms. So the x squared is different than the x, which is different than the constant. Another thing is that polynomials are generally written in descending order. So the highest exponent goes first, so the x squared. Then this is x, and there's an imaginary 1 right here, so x to the first power. And then the constant does not have an x variable, so it goes last. Let's talk about adding polynomials. We have our steps, and then we have our example. So the steps are to remove the parentheses, identify the like terms, and combine the like terms. So the first thing that I'm going to do is remove the parentheses and rewrite my expression. So I've got 3x squared plus 3x plus 5 plus my second set of parentheses is x squared minus x minus 2. Now I'm going to identify the like terms. The way I'm going to do that is by underlining the like terms. So I have an x squared term here, and I have another one right here. Then I'm going to underline my x term a different way. So I have 3x, and then I have negative x. And my constant, I'm going to underline twice. So now we have to combine our like terms. So I'm going to group them and combine them. So my x's, I have my 3x squared and my plus x squared. For my red, then for my green, I have a positive 3x and a negative x. And for my constants, I have a positive 5 and a negative 2. So now, if I add them up according to the like terms, I'm going to get 3x squared plus x squared gives me 4x squared. A 3x minus an x gives me a positive 2x. And then a 5 minus 2 gives me a positive 3. So my final answer will be written as 4x squared plus 2x plus 3. Now let's talk about subtracting polynomials. My steps are very similar to adding, but the first thing that I have to do is distribute the subtraction sign. So before I rewrite my expression without parentheses, I need to distribute this negative sign right here. So I need to distribute it to every term within the quantity. So if I do that, I'm going to have 2x squared plus x plus 3 when I rewrite my first quantity. And now I'm going to rewrite my second quantity. So I'm going to have negative x squared. A negative times a negative 2x is going to give me a positive 2x. And a negative times a positive 4 is going to give me a negative 4. So that is going to be my second quantity once I distribute my negative sign. Now I can remove the parentheses from the first quantity, so I'm going to rewrite my expression. So 2x squared plus x plus 3, and my second quantity is minus x squared plus 2x minus 4. So to identify like terms, I'm going to do the same thing as before and underline my like terms. So I have my x squareds, I have my x's, and I have my constants. I'm going to group my like terms. So 2x squared and a minus x squared. And then I have a positive x and a positive 2x and a positive 3 and a negative 4. So now if I add those together, and this is the final combination of my like terms, I'm going to get 2x squared minus x squared gives me x squared. X plus 2x gives me a positive 3x. And 3 minus 4 gives me a negative 1. So my final answer will be written as x squared plus 3x minus 1. Now on to multiplying polynomials. The first thing that we have to do when multiplying polynomials is double distribute. So that means I'm going to be distributing my first set of parentheses to my second set of parentheses. So I can do this by using arrows to help me. So that 3, I'm going to distribute it to the x and the negative 5. And the x, I'm going to distribute to the x and the negative 5 also. Now, one thing to note is that this dot in the middle means multiply, but that might not always be there. So sometimes you will see an expression written like this, x plus 3, and then right next to the parenthesis will be another parenthesis, x minus 5. And that means the same thing. So you can make a note to yourself and say that these are equal. Okay? So now on to multiplying. We have to double distribute, and I should you that with those arrows, but I'm going to show you a trick for multiplying. If you draw a box and make it 4 squares, then you write your factors on the sides, so x plus 3 on the top, and then x, and then the negative 5 on the bottom. You can easily multiply in this fashion. So I'm going to take this x and this x, and I'm going to get x squared. Then I'm going to take this negative 5 and this x, and I'm going to get negative 5x. Then I'm going to take this x and this 3, and I'm going to get 3x. And for the final box, I'm going to multiply the constants, so the negative 5 times the 3, and I'm going to get negative 15. So in the different colors, you can see the like terms. So the only combination that we'll have to do is with our x's. So if I rewrite this, I would get x squared, and then negative 5x plus 3x would give me a negative 2x. And in blue I have my constant, which is negative 15. So using this box is a nice little trick to multiply polynomials. So my final answer will be x squared minus 2x minus 15. Now, take a moment to try some practice problems. Here they are for you to see. Make sure to pause the video because I'm going to go on and explain the solutions. So, for number 1, the first thing I'm going to do is notice that it is an adding situation. And so my first step can be to remove the parentheses. So if I remove the parentheses, I have x squared plus 4x plus 6 plus 3x squared minus x plus 4. Now I can combine like terms. But first I'm going to underline, so there are my x squareds. Here are my x's. And here are my constants. So if I combine my x squareds, I'm going to get x squared plus 3x squared would give me 4x squared. If I combine my x's, I'm going to get 4x, and then it's a negative x, so 4x minus x gives me a positive 3x, and my constant is 6 and then plus 4, so I'm going to get a positive 10. So this is my final answer for number 1, the adding practice problem. 4x squared plus 3x plus 10. For number 2, the first thing I'm going to do is notice that it is a subtraction problem. So I need to distribute my negative sign. So if I distribute it to every term in the quantity, I'm going to get a negative 3x squared, a negative 4x, and a negative 5. Now I can rewrite my first quantity without the parentheses, so I'm going to have 3x squared minus 2x plus 1. And so now I can combine my like terms, but first I need to underline. So I have my x squareds, I have my x's, and I have my constants. When I combine my x squareds, I'm going to have 3x squared and a negative 3x squared. So 3x squared minus 3x squared will give me 0x squared. So I do not need to write that because they cancel out. If I combine my x's, I have a negative 2x minus 4x, because it is a negative 4, so negative 2x minus 4x is going to give me a negative 6x. And then my constants, I have a positive 1 and a negative 5. So 1 minus 5 is going to give me negative 4 as my constant. So this will be my final answer. If it helps you out, you can write the placeholder for the x squared, but know that your final answer is going to be negative 6x minus 4. So for number 3, I'm going to notice that it is multiplication. So the first thing I need to do is double distribute. So I'm going to distribute that 2 to my x and my positive 3. And I'm going to distribute my x to the other x and the positive 3. And now I'm going to draw my box. So I have my 4 squares, and then I'm going to write in what I'm multiplying. So x minus 2, and then x, and it's a plus 3. So x times x gives me x squared. 3 times x gives me 3x. X times negative 2, so notice that negative sign. X times negative 2 gives me a negative 2x. And my final box is 3 times negative 2 gives me a negative 6. So I have to combine my like terms, and I will get 3x minus 2x gives me, I'll put that in green. 3x minus 2x gives me 1x. So if I rewrite my final answer, I have x squared, and then it's a positive x minus 6. So that is my final answer for number 3. If you have any questions, please ask Mr. Dunn, Mr. Braychek, or myself. Have a great day, guys.